Myths and Legends of All Nations, Chapter DEUCALION and PYRRHA. While the men of the Age of Bronze still dwelt upon the earth, reports of their wickedness were carried to Jupiter. The god decided to verify the reports by coming to earth himself in the form of a man, and everywhere he went he found that the reports were much milder than the truth. One evening in the late twilight he entered the inhospitable shelter of the Arcadian king Lycaon, who was famed for his wild conduct. By several signs he let it be known that he was a god, and the crowd dropped to their knees. But Lycaon made light of the pious prayers. "Let us see," he said, "whether he is a mortal or a god." Thereupon he decided to destroy the guest that night, while he lay in slumber, not expecting death. But before doing so he killed a poor hostage whom the Molossians had sent to him, cooked the half-living limbs in boiling water or broiled them over a fire, and placed them on the table before the guests for his evening meal. But Jupiter, who knew all this, left the table and sent a raging fire over the castle of the godless man. Frightened, the king fled into the open field. The first cry he uttered was a howl. His garments changed to fur, his arms to legs. He was transformed into a bloodthirsty wolf. Jupiter returned to Olympus, held council with the gods, and decided to destroy the reckless race of men. At first he wanted to turn his lightnings over all the earth, but the fear that the ether would take fire and destroy the axle of the universe restrained him. He laid aside the thunderbolt which the Cyclops had fashioned for him, and decided to send rain from heaven over all the earth, and so destroy the race of mortals. Immediately the north wind and all the other cloud-scattering winds were locked in the cave of Aeolus, and only the south wind sent out. The latter descended upon the earth. His frightful face was covered with darkness, his beard was heavy with clouds, from his white hair ran the flood, mists lay upon his brow, from his bosom dropped the water. The south wind grasped the heavens, seized in his hands the surrounding clouds and began to squeeze them. The thunder rolled, floods of rain burst from the heavens. The standing corn was bent to the earth, destroyed was the hope of the farmer, destroyed the weary work of a whole year. Even Neptune, god of the sea, came to the assistance of his brother Jupiter in the work of destruction. He called all the rivers together and said, "Give full rain to your torrents, enter houses, break through all dams." They followed his command, and Neptune himself struck the earth with his trident and let the flood enter. Then the water streamed over the open meadows, covered the fields, dislodged trees, temples and houses. Wherever a palace stood, its gables were soon covered with water, and the highest turrets were hidden in the torrent. Sea and earth were no longer divided. All was flood and unbroken stretch of water. Men tried to save themselves as best they could. Some climbed the high mountains, others entered boats and rowed, now over the roofs of the fallen houses, now over the hills of their ruined vineyards. Fish swam among the branches of the highest trees. The wild boar was caught in the flood. People were swept away by the water, and those whom the flood spared died of hunger on the barren mountains.